Welcome back to The Big Show. It's Alex in Vegas, finding the most spectacular shows to see, and let me tell you, there's nothing bigger than O at the Bellagio, and it's always nice to talk to Terry Bartlett. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks.
Nice to see you again, and of course, Craig Paul Smith, double-barrel name, always nice to talk to you.
And nice to see you again.
Guys, what is it with you? Are you just totally talentless and can't find another job? Another year's passed and you're still here?
I think it's the love of the job, and this is all we can do as well.
This is really it, as far as I'm concerned, in show business. There's nothing compares to O. I've just sat in another sellout crowd, and they just love it year after year after year, don't they?
Yeah, there's something about O that just keeps the public coming back and back. I don't know what it is. Well, I do know what it is, but they do keep coming in through the door.
You're really the face of this show from the minute the curtain goes up, although it comes down and you're on before the curtain even thinks of coming down. It takes great bravery, doesn't it, to stand in front of an audience not knowing what they might say or do next?
I think so, but that's one of the wonderful challenges for me. So every night's just a little different, new faces, new experiences. So that's the fun.
And I suppose you never know who's in, who you could run into. I mean, Oprah Winfrey could be in one night or another megastar the next.
Absolutely, we get guests, we get the gamut of people, and like you say, something strange is always about to happen. So you've got to have your wits about you. What's
the rule? If you see somebody famous, do you ignore them or do you point them out?
Squirt them in the face, embarrass them, stand them up. That's my business. I get in trouble for doing that, but something tells me to do that.
Well, in character, though, they can't blame you, can they?
No, and they expect it a little bit.
All right, let's talk about this show. It's called O, which is French for...
Water.
Water. And that's what this show's about, really. The water comes and goes, though. It's the most technologically advanced of any show I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing what Cirque does, because there's so many things going on. 1 minute you'll be watching acrobatics or choreography on the stage, then there's something happening in the air, and then the stage is gone and it's complete water.
Let's find out your story. I know we've spoken before about how you've got here today, and really you are the lead in this show, although it's an ensemble cast. Terry, tell us about you.
Well, I started off as a gymnast back in Blighty, and after a competitive life, I joined Cirque many years ago as an acrobat, did a few shows for them, and then as the body started to wear down, I sort of needed another life, and I've always had the comedy in me, and Cirque's great for allowing you to pursue your efforts, so here I am as a clown.
You're being very modest. How many Olympics have you been to?
3.
I mean, you don't get there for no reason. Does it sometimes make you smile when you look in the mirror dressed as you are today and think that, we turn the clock back and there you were winning medals? It's really an incredible life.
It really is, and I do chuckle when I look back on it, but I always said gymnastics was a vehicle for my acrobatics and allowing myself to grow as an acrobat on stage. It just nurtured the comedy as well. So I really do feel like it's a step in the right direction.
I always have great sympathy for athletes because you're at your prime for a very, very short time and then you're left working in McDonald's. I mean, it really is quite interesting that you chose this path, and very wise.
It was very wise, and everyone's after my job and they're not getting it.
Craig, let's hear your story.
Well, I, again, studied acrobatics. I was a tumbler and competed Worlds, Europeans. Unfortunately, tumbling and sports acrobatics isn't an Olympic sport. So for me, after I'd done Worlds and Europeans, what do I do next? And the next step for me was Cirque du Soleil.
All right, we've described what you do in the show. You're the clown, you come on first to make everybody laugh. You impress with your physical magic, don't you?
Ooh, well...
Say yes.
Sure I do, yeah. I'm one of the characters. It's called a comet, and I'm also a catcher on let's say a kind of a trapeze, an aerial trapeze.
This show is spectacular beyond any explanation. It's very hard to sit here and try and explain to anyone who hasn't seen this how enormous a scale a show it is. For a start, you have a team of divers who have to save you from dying, don't you?
Absolutely. They're in the water at all times. They're leading you off on a regulator, making sure you're safe underwater at all times, and obviously moving all the equipment around whilst the public's enjoying the show.
It really does tick every box, this show, because it's got the beautiful lighting, which is so important in a theatre, but that's really the least of your worries. The live band adds to it, but the stuff that's going on behind the scenes must be more interesting than what we're watching front of curtain.
Well, there's the show that the audience sees, and then there's the show that we see, which is backstage, which includes the technicians. You have wardrobe, you have the physio, you have like the divers that's in the water. So there's a show going underneath that the audience will never see as well. So it's quite remarkable.
Terry, does it ever get boring?
It's a job, obviously. I'm not going to lie to you, but as jobs go, this is as good as it gets.
You get to be very funny in this, and it's not rushed, is it? That's the interesting thing about your part. You take your time with it, and it takes a few moments for the audience to kind of click onto what you're doing.
Yeah, like you said, the stage is enormous. You've got the lighting, the music, everything. Any other stage, there's a lot going on. For me and the other clown, we're spotlighted, and this is unusual for such a big theatre. So, yeah, you got to take your time and you got to use your eyes, and then they warm up to you.
Were you always kind of humorous?
Yes.
Well, there we go, and you're nodding.
He's definitely got some humour in the dressing room, I can tell you.
And let's talk about that, because there's 2 shows a night, 5 nights a week. Like you said, this is a really tough schedule. Physically, how demanding is it?
It's extremely physical, but I think it's also mentally challenging as well, because like you said, 10 shows a week. When you're a gymnast, you're practicing for one event, and then afterwards you get that rest, that break to recharge. We don't get to recharge. So it is physically draining, but mentally also.
And for the audience, it's mentally draining as well, because it looks really dangerous. And I presume it is. If you put a foot wrong, you could fall and hurt yourself.
Definitely. But we, part of the job is danger, but we rehearse a lot. So, we've got each other's backs at all times.
Does it get easier the longer you do it? Because I noticed tonight how specific each move was. There's a part where you use someone from the audience, and the way that's meticulously done to the second is just perfect.
Oh, thanks. It doesn't ever get easier. You get more comfortable with yourself. But I wouldn't say it's easier. There's just a lot more room around your own confidence. You learn to expect anything and go with the flow. As a novice, a few things might throw you off your balance. But the older you get, the more mature you get in the act, the less you're surprised.
And what's life like in Vegas? I mean, you've been in the show for ages now. You've been here for a long while. Is it still fun?
Of course, Vegas never gets boring. There are times when you want to avoid the Strip when you live here. Like, I've been here 13 years, Terry even longer. But if you're looking for fun, I mean, it's Vegas. You're going to find fun no matter where you go. And plus, there's so much to do, so much to see, and the weather, of course.
Are you the most popular friends in the world? You must have visitors about every couple of weeks.
I used to, yeah. It's relaxed a little bit now because I've been here so long. But with the newcomers, yeah, they're always, I've got this, I've got family, I've got friends, and then they got friends of friends coming in. So it gets pretty hectic.
If you weren't seeing a Cirque du Soleil show, what would you enjoy going to see?
Madonna in concert.
Yeah, that's Le Rêve across the street's a very good show.
Listen, I'm going to let you go. It's 9:25 when we're taping. You're back on at 10. You came off at just after 9. Congratulations on this show, and thank you for talking to me again, Terry and Craig. Thank you.
Thank you very much.